earlier on today, Gio released a video featuring an interview with ex-Premier League and FIFA referee Mark Halsey to get his opinions on the Mike Dean debacle, Tomas Soucek red card, Mitrovic falling over, whatever you want to call it. If you've not seen the video, it's going to be tagged at the end of this video on the end slate. I suggest you do so. Now, the purposes of this video is just to react a little bit to what Gio's excellent interview contained and exactly what Mark Halsey said. He said a lot, Gio said little, and just allowed him to talk. Now, it's really quite a coup to get somebody like this to speak to a YouTube channel, particularly a fan channel. So well done, Gio, for getting it. But often when you do these videos, certain things are insisted upon, which is one of the unspoken laws is you never reveal your sources. So I thought Gio started off very, very well when he said to Mark, he said, "You've got a good contact at the club. We don't need to know the name of him." Now, this was actually quite important because early on in the interview, Mark had said to Gio, "I know West Ham are going to appeal this decision. I've got a contact at the club." It's very important that you keep this sort of stuff secret.
Back to the isolated incident, you've got a good contact at West Ham. We don't need to know the name of him, but they're not very happy at the club right now with that decision.
No, listen. I've worked. As I say, I talk with David Moyes occasionally. I've worked with him, over in Doha with BN Sports. Get on really well. We text each other now and again.
I can't say who it is. I'm not going to say who it is. All I'm saying is, me and Moyes, we text all the. We're like hot. Do you know what? We got a timeshare together in Spain. We're on a blower all the time. I know David Moyes very, very well, but I can't reveal who my source is. Just on that as well, I've got to say that I'll get back onto the interview in just a second. But David Moyes also, I thought he was quite scathing. I don't know if you've heard it. I thought he was quite scathing in his post-match interview. However, I found his description of the incident, as an accidental coming together. Just listen.
An accidental coming together, which gave somebody a red card. I think was an embarrassing decision.
An accidental comes. There was no accident, mate. And I know he's disappointed. Look, Mitrovic had his arms all around him. It was a grope. It was a borderline cuddle. Almost sexual assault, you might say. I might say that. You might not. But it wasn't an accidental coming together. He wound him up. He had his hands all over him. And I thought at best it was a case of, get off. That's what I thought. Mark Halsey thought, and Gio thought as well. He was trying to lift his arm to get over his head. Whatever. It wasn't an accidental coming together. It was complete histrionics. It was complete acting. Actually, it wasn't Oscar. It was a terrible attempt at falling over. Oh, the clutching of he's wounded me. It was a bit like the witch, wasn't it? I know I've said this before. I'm melting. It was like her, wasn't it? In the Wizard of Oz when she gets the water thrown over her. It was absolutely pathetic. However, you've got to allow Mitrovic a little bit of leeway in this. You've got to understand that things are hard for him. I mean, he has recently only just come back into the country and he had to quarantine as well. So maybe he's under a little bit of stress. Certainly, not only him, he's had to leave his cat in quarantine as well. And some footage has just been released of his cat in quarantine at the moment. So make some allowances for the poor fella. He's without his little cat. Now, what I did find interesting was that when Mark Halsey was asked about Mike Dean, this is an endorsement, basically. This is what Mark says about Mike Dean.
What do you make of fans and ex-players and pundits almost insinuating it's the Mike Dean show? What's your reaction to that as a former professional referee?
I mean, listen, look, Mike's done over 500 games. Yes, he's shown well over 100 red cards, and I think, as I say, he's a very, very experienced referee. So listen, some may love him, a lot may loathe him, but we need characters. We need characters in the world of football. And listen, I'm not gonna come out here and berate Mike Dean. I'm not going to do that. But what I will say is, I think he's had two high-profile decisions in matter of days, and in my opinion, he's got them both wrong. And that,
So, some may like him. So this is the question. Basically, he's saying, I'm not going to criticise him. Some may love him. Some may loathe him. But we need characters in the game. No, we don't. Well, we do, but not the referees. I'm not criticising Mike here, by the way. I think Mark Halsey, sorry, Mark. It was I think it's very, very difficult because clearly he was trying to be diplomatic here. Like him all over him, we need characters. I don't want the referee to be a character, by the way. I want him to slip under the radar. What I did, so I like this, he said, I'm not going to berate Mike. However, his last two big decisions he's got wrong. I actually liked the thing at the start as well, where he said, what was it? I've written it down. He said, Mike's done over 500 games. So I think Gio asked at the start something like, there's been a lot of criticism that Mike likes the attention. Gio said fans and so on and so forth, are suggesting that Mike Dean likes the attention on himself. So Mark said, Mike's done over 500 games and over 100 red cards. It's a little bit like, you saying, do you like that guy that works for you? And you saying, well, he's meant to turn up 5 days a week, and all I can say is he's turned up for 4. It's not a ringing endorsement, is it? Let's be fair. But I want to get on to the violent conduct thing, if I may. And this is quite important. So you may or may not have seen the video. As I say, please do go and look at it, because it's I should know how long it is, because I did it. It's about 12, 13, 14 minutes, something like that. He is giving the textbook explanation of Law 12, which is about violent conduct. So just listen to this. This is why Tomas Soucek got sent off.
okay. Violent conduct is when a player uses or attempts to use excessive force or brutality against an opponent. A player who, when not challenging for the ball, deliberately strikes an opponent or any other person on the head or face with the hand or arm is guilty of violent conduct, unless the force used was negligible.
Okay, so excessive force and or brutality. Okay, let's be clear. Now, it's a real shame, because if I try and put the clip on here of the actual incident, then we'll get a basic. You're not allowed to on YouTube. We're not allowed to take Sky's footage, and which is absolutely fair enough. They paid enough for it. Let's be fair. It wasn't excessive force. It wasn't any force. There was no force there at all. Okay, so was it excessive force? No. Brutality. Was it brutal? I mean, that's not brutal, is it? That's really not brutal at all. I'm not even going to do the mime for what brutality might have been, but I'm imagining a hammer or a hatchet or something, a knuckle duster or something like that. It wasn't brutal. Excessive force is, well, it's clearly using more force than was necessary. Did Soucek use more force than was necessary to bring his arm back? No, he didn't go, nah! Do you know what? Number one, I think I've hurt my shoulder. Number two, goes to show that the chair shouldn't mess, really. So it wasn't overly. I've done something. It wasn't overly excessive. Okay. It is also violent conduct if you deliberately strike an opponent. Okay. So that's the thing. Did he deliberately strike him? So let's just say, for argument's sake, that Soucek did deliberately strike the falling one, Mitrovic. Is his name Alexander? I think his name Alexander, right? Alexander the Felled Tree Mitrovic. I'll probably find out afterwards. It's not Alexander. I don't care. I'm not going back to edit the video. Getting names right is not my forte. We could just call him Dembele for argument's sake, but whatever. So, anyway, blow him when he falls over Mitrovic, right? Let's just say that Soucek did deliberately strike him. Yeah. It's better now, actually. Let's just say he did that. He didn't, right? So let's just say deliberately struck him. But he sort of went like that. Now, here's the thing. Deliberately strikes an opponent unless the force is negligible. Well, it was negligible by the very definition of the word negligible. There was nothing in it whatsoever. There was no excessive force, Definitely not the brutality. The only brutality has been towards the headrest on the chair, which I never use. Not very comfortable, if truth be known. None of that. Negligible force, no brutality, not excessive force. Did he deliberate? I don't know. It's an absolute nonsense. It is a nonsense. And I really like the interview, by the way. And whilst I'm teasing Mark, I don't, I thought he was really good. I thought it was a very, very good interview as well. I thought Gio, number one, conducted the interview well, but did well to get him on board, and hopefully we'll be using him again, featuring him again in the future. And there will actually be another very, very good interview which Gio has done on, I think it might be Thursday. Don't hold me to that. I think it might be Thursday. It's going to be really, really interesting, that one. Not with a referee, but with somebody else. I'm going to give nothing else away on that. But, I mean, look, really interesting. I think the real tough thing about this is we don't find out until Tuesday whether the appeal has been successful. But fortunately, we already know from Halsey's unofficial secret contact at West Ham that the appeal has been made, and that has since been confirmed by the club as well. But we find out Tuesday, which makes it really hard to plan for the game, doesn't it? Let's be fair. I guess tactically, he's got to come up with something different, and then they will train with a shape and with the personnel within that shape as if they're playing with somebody else. I guess it's going to be seamless if Soucek just drops in there, but we could well do without it. Let's be fair. It's an absolute nonsense. Right, that's it. Well done. Please do. I say well done. I'm saying well done. Well done to you for getting this far. Well done for Gio to getting the interview. Well done me for doing a classic elbow strike on my chair. And please do. I'll link it right now in the end slate, which will probably be about... No, hold on. It'll be about there when it pops up in a second. There. Is that right? Something like that. Click on that. You can go and watch the interview again. I'll catch up with you in the morning.